Value rare Australian stamps from 1961 to 1963. James Cook 1963 stamp. Depicts the portrait of the British explorer who lived in the 18th century. James Cook. First navigator to embark for the Pacific Ocean. He was the first European to land on the coast of Australia, and to let the European world discover this new territory hitherto unknown. A little lower left. The cartographies of him to explore the unknown territories. Top left. The inscription Australia. To the right. The face value of 75 cents of the Australian dollar. Stamp issued in 303,000 copies. Today it has a value of $12. The Northern Territory's 1961 stamp. It depicts a man on horseback with an ox beside him. Represent the image of the Northern Territory cattle industry. Large farms that were done in Australia for food purposes. Top left. The inscription Australia. To the right. The £5 face value of the Australian dollar. Under. The written Northern Territory cattle industry. Stamp issued in 10 million copies. Red and brown in color. Today it is worth $20. Matthew Flinders postage stamp year 1963. Depicts another great explorer of the 19th century. He was the first British European to circumnavigate the entire coast of mainland Australia. To the left. The vessel with which Flinders explored and sailed the Pacific Ocean. Lower left. The face value of 10 cents of the Australian dollar. To the right. His name. Stamp issued in 2 million copies. Today it is worth $25. George Bass 1963 stamp. Depicts the bust of explorer and navigator George Bass. Lived in the second half of the 18th century. He is part of the great navigators of the Pacific Ocean, who have gone down in history for having touched and explored the territories of Australia. Bass notably circumnavigated Tasmania and South Australia. Lower left. The £1 face value of the Australian dollar. To the right. The surname of the navigator. Stamp issued in 1,400,000 copies. Today the original dated 1963 is worth $60. The Philip Parker King 1963 stamp is part of the series of stamps of navigators and explorers. In fact, Philip Parker King lived in the first half of the 19th century. He was one of the first explorers of the Australian coast. He made 4 trips to explore as many coasts as possible. In total he circumnavigated all of the northwest part, as far south as the Australian territories. Above. The inscription Australia. Lower left. The £2 face value of the Australian dollar. To the right. The last name of the explorer. Stamp issued in 501,000 copies. Today it is worth $80.